lost everyone that matters to me. The king has his duties to prepare our people for the afterlife. I have mine.
King M'Baku of Wakanda.
Ben, Yancey Street, between Broome and Grand.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel dropped the official HD version of the Black Panther Fantastic Four Avengers Doomsday trailer. And if you didn't notice, they made a slight change from the version that they put on YouTube than they put on the previous Avengers Doomsday trailers. On this Black Panther Fantastic Four trailer, now the countdown is just continuing at the end of all the trailers. Like the teaser trailers all end with a countdown to Doomsday, like Doomsday is coming. Now at the end of the YouTube version of this trailer, it just says Doomsday is coming and the countdown is continuing all the way the rest of the 11 months until it hits 0 and we get the movie in theaters. When the Russos posted this to their official Instagram account, they also had this very cryptic message where they said, what you've been watching the last 4 weeks, the 4 different teasers, are not teasers. They're stories. They are clues. Pay attention. Doomsday has begun. Naturally, everybody's going crazy, wondering what this actually means. What are you talking about? Love the Jennifer Lawrence meme that someone posted in chat here too, because she also played Mystique in the X-Men First Class movies. She's the First Class version, even though it's actually the Rebecca Romijn version of Mystique that we're actually getting in the movie. What I actually think the Russos are trying to say here is that these will not appear in the actual movie itself, and it's just setting the stage for them all figuring out what's happening with the incursions and learning about Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. When they say Doomsday has begun, I think they're both referring to the incursions destroying the MCU, like the entire universe is going to be destroyed by an incursion, but also Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is coming for the MCU. Doom is coming. Doomsday is going to happen. It will also be a day for Doctor Doom. So I think this means that this is the last teaser trailer they're going to release before they release a big official trailer. Hopefully that winds up being at the Super Bowl. Supposedly they're saving Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom reveal for that big one.
So legit.
But there are a lot of Easter eggs and references baked into this Fantastic Four meeting Black Panther trailer, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. I am sure their marketing for the movie is going to continue to be just as weird as it has been. If you remember Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, it's the same vibe as it was for those movies. But the basic idea during this trailer is the Fantastic Four have come from their universe, from the Thunderbolts post-credit scene, like they crossed universes. We'll talk about that in a second. Pretty easy to assume that the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts characters who become the new Avengers at the end of that movie, have met them at some point, and now they're on their way to Wakanda to meet with Shuri, the Wakandans, like M'Baku, the other Black Panther characters, and Namor's character. There are a couple reasons why they would want to meet with Shuri, mostly because she's one of the smartest people on the planet next to now Reed Richards, who's supposed to be the smartest man in his universe, or any universe that he goes into. They briefly addressed the crisis in space during the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. Shuri has also probably been clocking that for much longer than the new Avengers characters have been clocking it, just because she is way, way smarter than those characters. Presumably, that's why the Fantastic Four characters come to meet her, because they need her help dealing with this threat, this crisis in space, the incursions. The other reason why the Russos are having the Fantastic Four meet the Black Panther character here is the big comic book pull that they're going for. Originally, Black Panther, the T'Challa version of Black Panther, was introduced in a Fantastic Four comic book. Had Chadwick Boseman still been alive, he would have been the one meeting with them in this trailer. It would have been much more comic book accurate. There have been a lot of rumors about the Doctor Doom Robert Downey Jr. plot and how he's using the other characters against themselves, like he's twisting facts to make them do what he wants them to do. Maybe this has something to do with the subplot of him yoinking a whole bunch of other children. Call Chris Hansen. He's coming for all your children. The only real confirmed plot point for his character that we know is that he is trying to save the multiverse, but doing it in his own way and blaming others, specific people that we know have caused incursions. Like we saw during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness in Spider-Man No Way Home. Both of those characters, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, have both caused incursions through different means. We also saw them cause an incursion at the end of the Marvels movie, so they're also partially responsible for that. And supposedly he comes for Steve Rogers because him going into the past, living in the past in an alternate timeline, also causes an incursion, which basically they explain during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness with the John Krasinski Reed Richards. Makes sense that this is a Fantastic Four trailer that would also be relevant, another Fantastic Four character. The whole idea that traveling to other dimensions, messing around in other dimensions where you don't belong, causes incursions or leads to incursions.
I understood that reference.
So pretty much any character in the MCU movies that have gone to other universes or messed with other universes in the multiverse are partially responsible for incursions. God Loki could probably answer some questions about this too, because he is meant to be the gardener of the multiverse, tending to the garden of all the different timelines. Tell Thor to get him on the phone and ask him what the big deal is. But this new teaser trailer is meant to go just as hard as the X-Men trailer, even though I think the X-Men one is a little bit better just because we've been waiting even longer to get some classic X-Men that look comic book accurate. But like all the other previous teaser trailers, they combine the classic Alan Silvestri Avengers theme piano version with the Black Panther Wakanda music. There's a little bit of Fantastic Four music that they mix in the background from that movie, but mostly it's meant to be the Wakandan music. The whole reason why Namor and his people are here in this desert area, because there's a temple to Talocan, it looks ancient because he goes back about 500 years and his people go back even further than that, is probably because Shuri is meeting the Fantastic Four characters near Talocan on that side of the Atlantic Ocean. So the idea is that they're bringing about the end of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, where Namor was predicting that eventually Shuri would ask for his help. Now his idea was to destroy the surface world. Obviously things are going way crazier right now with Avengers Doomsday, Doctor Doom, and the incursions, so he's probably going to have to wait a beat before they actually destroy the surface world. But now, don't you wonder if they're going to be doing a version of Time Runs Out, because the suit that Namor is wearing in it looks like his Time Runs Out suit, or a version based on that suit. If they're going to be doing a version of Time Runs Out from the Jonathan Hickman run, do you actually think that Namor is going to betray everyone else and help Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom? During the whole Time Runs Out, Namor eventually does wind up joining the Cabal and working with all the villains. Marvel has not given us any big reveals on whether or not Robert Downey Jr. is going to show up inside the MCU with the team helping him out or anything from the Cabal or based on the Cabal. They kind of did a version of the Black Order during Avengers Infinity War, the children of Thanos, so maybe there'll be some echoes, some light references to the Cabal and the Illuminati groups. They kind of did a version of the Illuminati during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but that was in the 838 universe, and most of them are dead now.
What mouth?
Shuri enters the frame and they play the classic Avengers theme piano version. She has the new version of her Black Panther suit. It looks way more hardcore, way more gold, way more bling, way more Killmonger energy built into it, Killmonger vibes. Also kind of wondering if Killmonger is going to show up in a cameo scene during this. Maybe multiverse Killmonger at some point during Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars, but probably not both of the movies. When she says, "I've lost everyone that matters to me," she's talking about her brother T'Challa during the events of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and also lost her mother, Queen Ramonda, during that movie too, to Namor. After people saw this, they were like, wait a minute, does she not care about T'Challa's son, who's also named T'Challa, T'Challa, son of T'Challa? Kinda seems like her saying this means that she doesn't really think about him too much. What they also might be doing is just laying the seeds that she thinks that she's lost everyone until she sees another version of this young T'Challa aged up, because there's been a lot of rumors about Damson Idris being the new version of Black Panther, who will also show up from either another timeline or in some way show up during Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars as another version of T'Challa. There are a lot of ways that Marvel could explain him being T'Challa and showing up in the movies, but they could also just say that he's the aged-up version of T'Challa's son, also named T'Challa, so that Marvel can have their candy and eat it too. They don't want to recast Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa, but they do want a T'Challa Black Panther that they can use in all their movies going forward, like Black Panther 3, which is going to be the first movie after Avengers Secret Wars in the new rebooted MCU. Kevin Feige said a long time ago, one of the big things they're using that soft reboot point for in Avengers Secret Wars is to reset singular timelines, which is basically fixing a lot of people's continuities so that all the people exist on the same Earth. They did a version of this in the Arrowverse where they change a couple backstories a little bit to explain things going forward, how they could all exist on the same Earth. So they could just do the same thing with this adult version of T'Challa that they reintroduce or introduce during the movies. There was literally an awards show just a little while ago where Damson Idris was asked about this point blank, and he definitely gave off a vibe that he had been in talks with Marvel to be this new Black Panther. You can let me know in the comments what you think about him becoming a new version of T'Challa Black Panther in the MCU. Mostly just seems people are really hyped up to have another version of T'Challa Black Panther in the movies, and not really particular about how they accomplish that. Supposedly Shuri is going to still be the main Black Panther through Avengers Doomsday, but wouldn't be surprised if they introduce this other version of T'Challa Black Panther and he takes the mantle and becomes the main Black Panther in Black Panther 3. Shuri is also going to be in that movie too though, like she'll still exist in the MCU after Secret Wars, but I think she'll just go back to being regular Shuri. We get a shot of Namor, Namora, and the Talocan Temple and their people also meeting with Shuri and the Fantastic Four characters. Even though you only see the Wakanda characters meeting Ben Grimm, Namor and his people are also there with them in this desert area. So it just seems like the meeting is happening near this actual temple. When Shuri says the king has his duties to prepare our people for the afterlife, I love the way they linger on Namor's shot because he's also king of his people technically. Very ominous look on his face. But at least in context, the line of dialogue that she has is mostly talking about M'Baku is the king of Wakanda still after Wakanda Forever because they split duties. She's just off busy being Science Bro and Black Panther, wearing the mantle of Black Panther. Her whole thing is that she didn't want to spend all of her time doing the day-to-day ruling of actual Wakanda, like all the business administration work.
The Black Panther sends her regards, but she will not be joining us today.
She and M'Baku are cool though, they came to an arrangement over that outcome. For people asking too, they're not together in any kind of romantic way, like they're just allies basically. But when she says preparing their people for the afterlife, I think the idea is that she believes that their universe, the MCU, is about to be destroyed and it's because of the incursions. It just seems like they've gotten so worse, and that's what the Thunderbolts characters were talking about in their post-credit scene. The entire crisis in space that sounds like it's been going on for a while when that post-credit scene picks up. You have to imagine that Shuri has been watching this the whole time, and as a resident science bro, she's just expecting eventually that their universe will be destroyed if they don't do something to stop it. During the comic book Time Runs Out, T'Challa Black Panther is also part of the Illuminati with all the other characters too. You have to imagine that all the stories that they were using him in during Time Runs Out and Secret Wars, they had to substitute Shuri and potentially this other Black Panther T'Challa that they'll introduce during the movies at some point. We get a much better look at M'Baku's suit too. I talked about this in my previous video. There's way more wood that's built into it, but it's still meant to be partially vibranium. All their cloth is vibranium weave, and it's built into everything that they have. But he is a hardcore traditionalist as part of the ape tribe, and they hate technology. Shuri is all about technology. But it does not mean that he doesn't like vibranium. All of his weapons are made of vibranium too. But we did see Namor just absolutely wreck his wooden armor during Black Panther Wakanda Forever, so I'm assuming that he has a much more upgraded version here that Shuri has helped make for him too. And after this very, very serious part of the trailer, like incredibly dark and serious in tone, we get the funny moment of Ben Grimm meeting M'Baku and Shuri. Love the way he introduces himself too. M'Baku just seems like he can't believe Ben Grimm. Like, what is your deal? Are you entirely made of rock? Is your junk made of rock? But you have to imagine the Fantastic Four from the 1960s coming into present day this alternate universe, meeting these Wakandan characters and seeing how advanced they are. Don't you also wonder if there is a version of Black Panther on their Earth that they just didn't reveal during the Fantastic Four movie? But I think the idea at the end of the trailer here, when Shuri's getting back onto her ship with M'Baku, she's nodding to Namor off camera, and it's probably because they are forming their alliance. She could be nodding to Ben Grimm though too, but she gives the Wakanda Forever sign. We get that line, the Wakandans, the Fantastic Four, will return in Avengers Doomsday like they did for the other trailers and the other teams. Then we get the countdown to Doomsday is Coming, the slightly different version that will just run all the way on their YouTube channel until the 11 months runs out, counts down to 0, and we actually get the movie in theaters. Now you need to do, Marvel, is reveal Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom, official HD shiny crisp look at his suit. What are his powers going to look like? Was he the one controlling the Sentinels in the X-Men universe during that big fight where Cyclops was going crazy? Cannot wait to see him absolutely wreck all of the other main characters too. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and if there's any Easter eggs or references that you spotted in this HD footage that I didn't talk about during this video or my previous videos, just write it below in the comments. Like I said, we're supposed to get another official HD trailer, like a traditional trailer with way more footage at some point later this year. Hopefully that winds up being the Super Bowl. Also, we still need an official HD version of the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. We haven't really gotten any official footage of that, just a couple of teaser trailers that they released and a lot of janky potato quality footage too. I've already done a video for that potato quality trailer. Click here for that, and click here for all my other Avengers Doomsday trailer videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.